What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a hair tutorial video for you guys. So for my birthday, as some of you know, I did this half up half down style. So if you guys want to see how I created this look, stay tuned for this video. So first things first, I had my protective style and my two cornrows. I had to take those out and detangle my hair. Now I have been back on my natural journey. I've never changed, but I did do a big chop about 2 years ago, coming up in August. So I've never done a trim, and I decided to give myself a trim before I do this because my hair has really been breaking off a bit at the ends, and the ends have been having fairy knots. So I decided before doing this I would detangle my hair and give myself a bit of a trim. So after completing one side, I did the next off camera, and I'm just showing you guys my hair. Now I'm gonna make my part at the tip of my ears on both sections as I'm showing you here. That's where I'm gonna be parting my hair. So first I use some of my leave-in repair conditioner, and I'm just adding that throughout my hair before I start detangling. Then I'm going to be separating my hair in sections to start my detangling process. Next, I'm gonna parting my hair into this section. You want to make sure that it is as neat as you possibly can, because after detangling and trimming, you're gonna use it for your braided section, so you want to make sure it's as straight as you possibly can make it. So I'm gonna use 2 scrunchies and set those aside for later. Now that I got my 2 sections separated, it's time to detangle. I'm using my detangling brush just to brush that out, and then I'm going to be sectioning that off in the back to be able to do my trimming. Now if you are not sure how to trim your hair, or if you do not trust yourself to trim your own hair, I suggest doing it at a salon. That way you have professional help with doing that. But I decided to do mine myself, as I trust myself a bit more with judgment of where I want to clip my hair, and clipping it or trimming it with a length that I'm happy with. So now that I have detangled my hair, I am separating it out into sections, and I'm just bringing my hair closer to the ends just so I can see where those ends are, those bad ends. And I'm just twisting my hair just to get a more closer grip, and I'm just clipping that off. As you can see, I did not take off or remove a lot of hair, as this is just basically called dusting, as you're just removing those ends of your hair that are bad or not needed. So I'm just doing that again. I'm pushing my hair out to the ends, and I'm using my white background as guidance on where I need to be clipping, and I'm just removing just a little bit. And already just passing the comb through my hair, it felt so much healthier, and it was so much of a difference. So clipping your hair actually helps with the growth of your hair. So you would want to clip your hair, I want to say every year. Clipping your hair every 2 months, every 6 months, I think that stagnates the growth of your hair. But every year or every 2 years, I think it's just fine, as you see the growth in your hair, even though you're clipping off bits and pieces of your hair. Now that I'm complete with trimming the back section, I'm going to put that back and deal with the front section of my hair. Now that I'm complete with dusting my hair, it's time to do our braids. So I'm using this color braid, as I wanted a color that I haven't really tried altogether by itself. So I'm doing singles in the back. As you can see, I sectioned my hair, and I'm going to clip that hair in 2 and kind of sectioned it off, or softer the harsh ends, So I will be pulling apart the hair. I'm not sure if I showed it here, but if I do, you'll see what I do. So I'm just gonna be pulling the hair down, and just to make sure that I don't have any blunt cuts. Now that I'm done with that, it's time to do my first section. So I'm just parting that away from the rest, and I'm gonna be using my edge control just to sleek that together. That way I don't add any hair from any other section. So now I'm just putting the other section aside. That way it doesn't get entangled into the section that I'm gonna be working with. So I'm gonna show you guys the amount that I use per section, because I didn't want it to be too thin. I want it to be thick enough that it goes with the size of my part. So this is the size that I have, and I'm gonna show you guys just in a slowed down video clip of the technique. So this is how I do it. I section the hair in two, as you can see here, and then I just twist it around twice, just to make sure that I have a firm grip or a firm knot. That way when I go to apply it to my hair, it does not get loose. I believe this to be the easiest technique for someone who's a beginner, as this one isn't as complex as the others. So if you want, you can use this technique, as I believe it to be the simplest way of doing it, or to make your knot. So you can replay it and practice it to do your knot. Now that I've formed my knot, I'm just gonna show you guys how I do the back. Now forgive me if my detailed clip isn't the best. My hand always get in the way. So what I did here is I sectioned my hair, my part in the back, I sectioned it in two, and I used that left hand and that middle section, I use those to grab my hair, and then I just bring that around like I'm going to do a cornrow. That is how I apply my braiding hair, almost like I'm gonna be doing cornrows, and that is how I form my knot. Now after forming my knot, you want to make sure that you loosen up that hair. You don't want that to build up and get stuck. You don't want your hair to get jammed, so you got to bring that down as you go. And when you get to a comfortable length, you can bring that around and start braiding it into your plaits. And as you're plaiting down, you can plait it completely all the way down, or you can stop midsection and form your twist. What I normally do personally, for me, I plait the hair all the way down to my hair, or to the ends of my hair, and then I twist the ends of after that, just to make sure that I can separate where my hair ends and where it's only the braids. So when I go to clip, when I'm ready to take it out or take it apart, I know where to go. Now sometimes when I braid, you see I have my hair sticking out. I'm gonna show you guys how I fix it right here. So I add some of my edge control to sleek that down, and then I just plait it back into my hair. That way it stays sleek and it doesn't pop out. That's for when I find them. That's how I fix them. So as you can see now, I've passed where the mark of my hair is, and I was gonna twist it, but then I remember I bought these cute little hair bead details, so I decided to add them in. So how I applied it was I took like a little string of the hair and I twisted just to get the hair to be firm enough to be able to push it through the loop, and then I pushed it up to where my braid is starting, and then I started twisting right under it. So it's a bit difficult, I'm not gonna lie, when I started doing it, because this was my first one. So I was just trying to get my technique together of how I'm going to apply them, and it worked out well. You can push the beads or the details up to the top of your last twist, or you can twist over it and then go under it. That way it's secured in place. This is how the first one is looking. It's a bit long. I used about 4 to 5, I believe it was 5. I used 5 packages of hair, Canicolon hair, to do this. So make sure you get the amount, and if your hair is thicker, use a lot more. So this is how my first row is looking. As you can see, it kind of matches up to the squares that I made, which is what I want. I want it to be as thick as my squares. And my hair is thin, so it ratios for everyone. So be mindful. If anything, buy a bit more hair just in case. So for the rest of the sections, I had help from my husband just to help me part out the back as I am doing them. So if you don't have any help, it's good to use a front and back mirror. So you'd put a mirror to the back of your head and one to the front, just so you can see what it is that you're lining up in the back, just to make sure that your lines are sleek. And I also use my edge control to spread it across my line, just to make sure that it looks sleek and that there's no extra hairs coming in from other sections. So as I'm going along, I'm just adding the beads in my hair, like the little braid details. I'm adding them in around the back just to give my hair some extra flair. And I really liked how it was coming together. So as you can see, I'm almost done with the back, and then we're gonna get into the front soon. I want to say this style took me about 4 hours. I want to say 4 hours, but it could be longer. I'm gonna double check and let you guys know, but I want to say it took me about 4 or 5 or 6 hours to make. So if you want to do this style, be sure to take the necessary amount of time that you need to make this style. And if you have reached this far in this video and you are not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button and click that bell notification so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And welcome to the fam. Now that I've completed the back, this is how it's looking so far. As you can see, I've kind of ran out of hair because I did not have enough. So you can see the different color from the top. So again, be mindful of your hair and how thick or how big you want it. You need to get more hair, or just buy 2 more packs just in case. So this is how the details is looking so far. I'm really happy with how everything turned out, and let's get into our braids at the top. Now I'm just tying that off at the back, and I'm gonna start off with my front. So first things first is that I'm going to make my lines. Now I'm trying to make my lines as sleek as possible, as I want it to look neat, because I want it to last a really long time. So I'm just combing that out and making my sections. I want to say about an inch in thickness, or an inch big, or an inch wide. That is how big I'm making my section. Now that I've formed my part, I'm going to be using my edge control just to go over that, just to make sure again that my lines are sleek and neat, and I don't have any extra hairs where I don't need them to be. So after I form my line, I'm just adding my edge control, and then I'm just going to be going over that again just to make sure that my line is flawless. And then I'm going to pin away the other sections that I'm not using at the moment, and then I'm gonna start off with this section. I'm gonna try to see if I can do a good job to let you guys see just how I do my braids. Hopefully it looks, or it's explanatory, or you guys can see the details of how I did my braids or how I formulate them. Now with the front, I decided to do the invisible braiding. That way you don't see that bump at the front, at the beginning of your hair at the front. I don't really like it like that. I like my braids, especially at the front of my hair, to look as natural as possible. So that is why I will always use the invisible part at the beginning of my hair. As you can see here, I'm adding my edge control around my part just so that it doesn't have any flyaways. That is the reason why I'm adding edge control. Now I'm just going to be sectioning away my starter piece right at the front with the comb. I'm parting away just a little section as my starter. So I'm going to separate that into 3, and I'm going to use that to form my first few lines or first few rows, and then I'm going to add little bits and pieces of hair that I have separated at the front. This part of the video isn't the part that I want to use to help to show you guys the details on how I add the hair in, but I will have a clip somewhere down the line just to help you guys see how I do my invisible part. As you can see, as I'm going with my braid, every few rows that I have, I add another bits and piece of hair underneath my braid. That way it doesn't show any signs of the bump at the top. So I would bring that around, bring it under, and then add the other piece. I'll show you guys in another video clip coming soon. As you can see, as I'm going down, I'm making sure that the hair doesn't tangle up at the ends, and I'm just continuously adding hair throughout the process. So I wanted to show you guys just how my braid is looking so far, my first braid. As you can see, I'm down at the end and you can't see the bump at the beginning. That is what you want. So as I'm bringing my hair down, I'm still adding hair to the ends of the hair just to build it up so it doesn't look so thin. But it is my first braid, and because my hair is thin, I do not want to have it weighed down with a whole lot of hair. So that is why this section, the first one, is a bit thinner or smaller in size than the rest. Now I'm almost halfway through with the front section of my hair. Now I'm gonna try to show you guys how I did my cornrows the best way I can. So let's hope this helps. So I'm parting out the section of my hair as how I did the other sections. I try to make sure that my lines are straight, and then I'm gonna be using my edge control to line that section, and then I'm gonna go over it just to make sure that my line is polished. And next I'm just gonna go around that part with my edge control just to make sure that all surfaces are covered, and then I'm going to put some of that edge control down the shaft of my hair just to make sure that I have minimum frizzing on my braid. So I'm using my comb and my detangling brush just to make sure that I don't have no tangles and to ensure that I have a flawless transition when I'm doing my braids. So now I zoomed in on this section just in hopes that it would help you guys see what I did. So I part that section that I have in the front in 3, and I'm just going through it, just a few rows of that cornrow, and then I'm adding a single hair strand or a small amount of that braid in here, and I add it under my hair, made a few turns, and then I add the other under the braid. As you can see, again, I added under that braid, then I just made about two swoops under, and then I pulled that other hair that was left out under, and that is how I transitioned it. Now as you can see, as I'm braiding, you don't see any bumps or clumps on the surface of your braids or your cornrow, and that is what you want. So again, what I did, I add the braid to the cornrow, the extension, to my hair, and what I did was I added under the braid or under the cornrow. I'm not sure how everyone calls this, and then I just made 2 braids or cornrows, and then I add the last piece underneath the other one, and that is how I do my invisible part braids. And if the hair is short on the top of the crown of your head, you can also add that hair while you are making your braid or your plait. You can continue adding hair until it's at the sufficient length or thickness that you want. And that is how I do my invisible part. Let me know what you guys think, or if you guys need another video demonstrating this a bit clearer, I'll try to do that for you guys. But that is how I do my invisible part braids or cornrows. Now I'm just going to briefly show you guys how I trim the shafts of my hair for a clean finished look. So what I do is I use the tip of my fingers and I pull it upwards against the shaft of the hair, and all the hairs that are sticked out, I clip those. If it's your hair, you do not have to clip your hair. The best way to have your hair be sleeked into your braid is to use your edge control or gel or whatever you use, and use that to sleek your hair into the braid. But if not, if it doesn't work, you don't have to clip your hair, or do not clip your hair. Just clip the hair from the braids. And I'm going to show you at the ending of the video how much of a difference it makes when you clip your hair and when you don't clip your hair. So as you can see, I'm going through it and I'm just looking to see all of those ends that are sticking out, and I'm just cleaning them off. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect because we are going to use hot water at the end, so you don't have to worry about making sure that it's super perfect. Again, I'm just showing you again here how I clip the flyaways from the braid. I push it upwards using my fingertips, and all the hairs that are sticking out, I use my scissors and I cut those off. Be sure not to cut your own hair. You do not have to clip your hair. Just clip all the braids that are flyaways. Now we're on the last section of our hair. We're almost done. We're one section away. So I'm gonna try again just to see if I can help you guys to see how I did this section. Just so if you didn't grasp it the first section, hopefully this one will help a little bit. If you're not familiar with doing cornrows, but you know how to do plaits or braids, as Americans would call it, this is similar to that. It's just that you are continually doing it from the root and you're carrying it backwards to the end of your hair, if it makes sense. So you start with your 3 ends and you just continually add hair in and carry your 3 strands down the back like you would do a plait or a braid. Let me know if this better helps you guys in seeing how to execute doing a cornrow. If not, I will try to do it again in another video, but more detailed, so you guys can see how to do a cornrow. And this hairdo is tasking, especially if you're doing it yourself and you have to keep your arms up. It really is like a workout. Now that we're finishing up, we're on our last section. Be sure to boil some water, some hot water. You'll see what it is for in a few. We're going to use it on our hair just to slick everything down and have it look nice and shiny and polished, and have our hairstyle look professionally done. No one can tell if you went to the salon or not. So what I'm doing now is I'm just seeing if everything would look how I want it to, because this style is for my half up half down braided style for my birthday. So I just was too excited, so I wanted to see how it would look in the style that I wanted it in. So I'm just putting that away in the front, and I'm just going to twist that section at the top and wrap it around and make a bun. And I use another scrunchie or a rubber band to keep that in place. Now it's time to do our baby hairs. Now I'm just brushing away all of those baby hairs that didn't make it into my braid, and I'm just pushing them towards the front because I'm going to use them to do my baby hair. So next I'm going to be adding some of my edge control, and I'm just adding that on those little hairs on the section in the front, and I'm just going to brush those out and use that to form my swoops or baby hairs. this is how my hair is looking so far. I wanted to show you guys how it looks and how my hair looks before I add the hot water. So this is how everything is looking. Let me know what you guys think and if you guys will do this hairstyle for yourself. Again, I'm just showing you guys how my braids are looking with those little details. It looks so cute. But now I'm going to show you guys. I used the hot water. So I add the hot water to a bowl and I just dip the hair in and I used my towel to slightly dry it, and this is how it looks. Super sleek and polished, and it looks like it was professionally done. After dipping the braid extension in hot water, I did clip the ends a bit just to make sure that they are leveled off. You can do that for yours as well, but it is not a necessary thing to do. That is how I completed this look for my birthday. I really like how it came out, especially with those little gold hearts in it. It came out super cute. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you want, and hit that bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.